There is a version of you hidden beneath your excuses, a version that does not procrastinate, a version that does not need motivation, a version that wakes up and executes regardless of how he feels. Most people will never meet that version of themselves, not because they lack intelligence, not because they lack opportunity, but because every day they choose comfort over transformation. And comfort is a silent killer. It doesn't destroy your life overnight. It destroys it slowly. One postponed decision, one broken promise, one excuse at a time. Years pass, dreams remain dreams, potential remains potential, and eventually people convince themselves that the life they settled for was the life they wanted all along. But deep down, they know the truth. They surrendered. Marcus Aurelius once wrote that a person's life becomes what their thoughts make of it. Machiavelli understood something equally important. A person who cannot govern himself will always be governed by something else: his emotions, his addictions, his fears, the opinions of other people. Today, most people believe freedom means doing whatever they want. But the Stoics taught the opposite. If you can only act when you feel motivated, you are not free. If your mood controls your actions, you are not free. If your cravings dictate your choices, you are not free. You are simply obeying a different master. Real freedom begins the moment discipline becomes stronger than desire. That is why truly disciplined people seem different, calmer, sharper, more dangerous. Not dangerous because they harm others, dangerous because they cannot easily be manipulated. You cannot distract them with gossip. You cannot control them with approval. You cannot derail them with temporary discomfort. They have learned to command themselves. And self-command is a form of power that few people ever achieve. Today we are going to explore how to build that power, not through motivation, not through positive thinking, but through a system of internal mastery inspired by Machiavelli, strengthened by Stoicism, and supported by modern psychology. The first step is something most people completely misunderstand: silence. Chapter 1. The discipline of silence. In today's world, everyone wants to be seen. Everyone wants to announce their plans. They post their goals. They announce their transformations. They tell everyone about the business they are starting, the weight they are losing, the habits they are building. And then something strange happens. The more they talk, the less they do. Psychologists have discovered that publicly announcing goals can create a false sense of accomplishment. Your brain begins to enjoy the reward before the work has been completed. You feel progress without making progress. The disciplined individual understands this trap. Instead of talking, he works. Instead of announcing, he builds. Instead of seeking validation, he seeks results. Machiavelli observed that appearances often matter more than declarations. People judge what they see, not what you promise. The Stoics agreed. Epictetus advised people not to explain their philosophy. He said, show it through your actions. Think about the strongest people you know. They rarely advertise their strength. They rarely argue about their value. Their presence speaks before they do. That kind of confidence is built in silence. Silence creates focus. Silence creates mystery. Silence protects your energy. Every explanation you give drains attention from execution. Every argument steals time from progress. Every attempt to convince others distracts you from becoming the person you want to be. Imagine spending 6 months working quietly. No announcements. No validation. No need for approval. Just consistent effort. Day after day. Workout after workout. Book after book. Skill after skill. While everyone else is talking about becoming better, you are becoming better. Then one day people notice something different. Your posture changes. Your confidence changes. Your standards change. Your entire energy changes. And the most interesting part is this: You never had to tell them. They saw it themselves. That is the power of silence. Because results speak with a voice that words can never match. The modern world rewards noise, but greatness is usually built in quiet places, in empty gyms before sunrise, in lonely study sessions, in difficult conversations nobody sees, in hours of focused work while everyone else is distracted. Your future is not built through announcements, it is built through repetition. The question is simple. Can you remain silent long enough to let your actions become your introduction? Chapter 2. Emotional Alchemy. How to act when you feel nothing. Most people believe discipline is about motivation. That is the first illusion. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes like the weather. Some mornings you wake up energized. Other mornings you wake up exhausted. Some days you feel unstoppable. Other days you question everything. If your actions depend on motivation, your progress will always be unstable. This is why so many people start strong and finish weak. They confuse emotion with commitment. The Stoics understood this thousands of years ago. Marcus Aurelius did not wake up every day feeling inspired. He woke up carrying the weight of an empire. Yet he reminded himself that his duty remained the same regardless of how he felt. That is the essence of emotional mastery. Not controlling your emotions, not suppressing your emotions, but refusing to let your emotions control your actions. Machiavelli observed that great leaders could not afford to be ruled by temporary feelings. A ruler who reacts emotionally becomes predictable. And what is predictable can be manipulated. The same principle applies to your own life. Think about how many opportunities have been lost because of a feeling of fear, a feeling of laziness, a feeling of doubt, a feeling of discouragement. For many people, emotions become invisible chains. The moment discomfort appears, they stop. The moment resistance appears, they retreat. The moment failure appears, they surrender. But the disciplined person sees emotions differently. He treats them as information, not instructions. Fear tells him something is important. Fatigue tells him he needs recovery. Anxiety tells him to pay attention, but none of these emotions decide his next move. He decides. That distinction changes everything. Modern psychology has repeatedly shown that action often comes before motivation. Most people wait until they feel ready. The disciplined person acts first, then motivation follows. Imagine a cold morning. Your alarm rings. Every part of your mind wants to stay in bed. The average person negotiates. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe I deserve more rest. Maybe one day won't matter. The disciplined person does something different. He moves before the negotiation begins, because he understands a powerful truth. The longer you argue with yourself, the weaker you become. Every unnecessary negotiation strengthens hesitation. Every decisive action strengthens confidence. This is emotional alchemy. The ability to transform resistance into momentum, to transform discomfort into growth, to transform excuses into execution. The goal is not to eliminate emotion. The goal is to stop worshipping it. You can be afraid and still act. You can be tired and still act. You can be disappointed and still act. You can be uncertain and still act. The strongest people are not those who feel nothing. They are those who continue despite feeling everything. And that is what makes them dangerous. Because once your actions become independent of your emotions, very little can stop you. Circumstances lose their power. Mood loses its power. Excuses lose their power. You become consistent, and consistency is where real power begins. The next time you do not feel like doing the work, remember this. You do not need to feel ready. You do not need to feel inspired. You do not need to feel confident. You only need to act. Because every time you act despite resistance, you cast a vote for the person you are becoming. And eventually, those votes create a new identity. an identity built not on emotion, but on discipline. Chapter 3. The Power of Voluntary Isolation. Most people fear being alone, not because solitude is painful, but because silence removes distractions. And when distractions disappear, the truth begins to speak. You begin to notice how much of your life is driven by habit rather than intention. You begin to see how often you seek approval. You begin to realize that many of your goals are not even your own. Machiavelli understood that leaders must often stand alone. The Stoics understood that character is forged in solitude. And modern psychology confirms that periods of deep focus are essential for meaningful achievement. Yet most people never experience true solitude. The moment they are alone, they reach for their phones. They fill every empty moment with entertainment, every silence with noise, every discomfort with distraction. They are constantly connected to everyone except themselves. A disciplined person learns to do the opposite. He schedules periods of deliberate withdrawal, not because he hates people, but because he values clarity. There is something powerful about sitting alone with your thoughts. No notifications, no music, no opinions, no escape routes, just you. At first it feels uncomfortable, then it feels peaceful, eventually it feels necessary. Because it is in solitude that you discover who you are without an audience. You stop performing, you stop pretending, you stop seeking permission. And that is where real growth begins. The strongest minds in history spent significant time alone, not because they were antisocial, because they understood that deep thinking requires distance from the crowd. If you want extraordinary results, you cannot live exactly like everyone else. You must be willing to spend time where most people refuse to go, into silence, into focus, into solitude. That is where transformation waits. Chapter 4. Emotional Mastery. The average person is controlled by emotions. A good mood creates productivity. A bad mood destroys it. Their life rises and falls with temporary feelings. But disciplined people operate differently. They understand something fundamental. Feelings are real, but they are not commands. You can feel tired and still work. You can feel afraid and still act. You can feel discouraged and still continue. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the mind becomes stronger when it stops complaining about reality and starts working with reality. Think about that. There is a strange paradox about discipline. The more consistent you become, the more unpredictable you appear to others. People expect excuses. You don't provide them. People expect emotional reactions. You remain calm. People expect you to quit. You continue. Eventually they stop understanding you. Why? Because most people operate according to circumstance. Disciplined people operate according to principle. Circumstances change. Principles do not. When it rains, most people stay home. When obstacles appear, most people slow down. When criticism arrives, most people retreat. But a person governed by principles keeps moving, not recklessly, not blindly, deliberately, consistently, year after year. This kind of consistency creates something extraordinary. Trust. Not the trust of other people, the trust of yourself. Imagine knowing with absolute certainty that you will do what you promised yourself. Imagine setting a goal and no longer questioning whether you will follow through. Imagine removing self-doubt because your actions have proven your character. That is real confidence, not loud confidence, not performative confidence, earned confidence, confidence built through evidence. Every completed workout, every difficult conversation, every promise kept, every distraction resisted, brick by brick, day by day, until discipline is no longer something you do. It becomes who you are. And once that happens, life changes. Because you are no longer fighting yourself. All your energy moves in the same direction. And that is when extraordinary progress becomes possible. Chapter 6. The Standard of the Exceptional. Most people do not fail because they lack ability. They fail because their standards are too low. They accept behaviors that slowly destroy their future. They tolerate procrastination. They tolerate excuses. They tolerate mediocrity. And what you tolerate eventually becomes your identity. Machiavelli understood that great kingdoms rarely collapse overnight. They decay gradually. A small compromise becomes a habit. A habit becomes a culture. A culture becomes a downfall. The same thing happens within an individual. One missed commitment becomes two. Two become 10. Before long, a person no longer trusts himself. That is why discipline begins with standards. Not goals, standards. Goals are destinations. Standards are the rules you live by every day. A goal says, I want to become fit. A standard says, I do not skip training. A goal says, I want financial freedom. A standard says, I do not waste money on impulses. Goals inspire. Standards transform. The disciplined person does not rise to the level of his ambitions. He falls to the level of his systems. And his systems are built upon standards that do not change depending on mood. Ask yourself, what have you been tolerating? What excuses have you allowed to survive? What habits have you defended, even though they are destroying your future? The answers reveal the distance between who you are and who you could become. Raise the standard, then protect it, relentlessly, because the quality of your life will never exceed the quality of the standards you accept. Chapter 7. The Death of the Old Self. Every transformation requires a funeral. This is the truth most people avoid. They want a new life without letting go of the old one. They want discipline without sacrifice, strength without discomfort, success without change. But nature does not work that way. The caterpillar cannot become the butterfly while remaining a caterpillar. Something must end before something greater can begin. The same is true for you. The disciplined version of yourself is not created. He is revealed. He emerges when everything weak is removed. The laziness, the victim mentality, the addiction to approval, the fear of failure, the fear of judgment, the fear of standing alone. These things cannot accompany you into the next chapter of your life. They must be left behind. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that every day offered an opportunity to become a different person. Not through wishes, not through intentions, through decisions. The old version of you will fight for survival. It will whisper familiar lies. Tomorrow will be better. You deserve a break. One more time won't matter. You're already tired. These voices are not your friends. They are echoes of old patterns. And if you listen to them long enough, they become chains. There comes a moment when you must make a choice. Will you continue protecting the person you used to be? Or will you become loyal to the person you are capable of becoming? The answer determines everything. Because your future self is waiting. But he cannot arrive until the current version of you steps aside. Chapter 8. The Fortress Within. Machiavelli wrote extensively about power. Most people interpreted his work as advice for controlling others. But there is a deeper lesson. The strongest fortress is not built of stone. It is built within the mind. Think about it. Money can disappear. Status can disappear. Relationships can change. Opportunities can vanish. Entire industries can collapse. But if you possess discipline, you possess the ability to rebuild. Again, and again, and again. That is true power. Because external success is fragile. Internal strength is durable. The Stoics understood this deeply. They trained themselves to focus on what could not be taken away. Character, judgment, self-control, courage, wisdom. These qualities become a fortress that no external force can easily destroy. When you develop this fortress, something remarkable happens. Fear begins to lose its influence. You stop fearing failure because you know you can recover. You stop fearing criticism because you know your value. You stop fearing uncertainty because you trust your ability to adapt. And when fear loses its grip, freedom takes its place. Not the freedom of doing whatever you want, the freedom of being able to do what must be done, regardless of how you feel, regardless of what others think, regardless of how difficult the path becomes. That is the freedom few people ever experience, and it is worth every sacrifice required to obtain it. The final transformation. Imagine yourself 1 year from today. Not a fantasy version, not an unrealistic version. The version that would emerge if you became disciplined every single day. Imagine the confidence. Imagine the clarity. Imagine the physical strength. Imagine the mental resilience. Imagine waking up each morning knowing that your actions align with your ambitions. How different would your life look? How different would you feel? How many problems would disappear simply because you finally became consistent? Most people spend years searching for secrets. There are no secrets. The answer has always been the same. Do what needs to be done. Then do it again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next. Discipline is not glamorous. It is repetitive. It is quiet. It is often lonely. But over time, it produces results so extraordinary that people assume there must be a secret. There isn't. There is only consistency. The world is becoming increasingly distracted, increasingly impatient, increasingly addicted to comfort. That is your opportunity. While others seek shortcuts, build mastery. While others chase attention, build substance. While others complain, build solutions. While others wait, move. Because the future belongs to those who can remain focused when everyone else is losing focus. The future belongs to those who can remain disciplined when everyone else is chasing comfort. The future belongs to those who can command themselves. And perhaps that is what people truly fear. Not your success, not your confidence, not your achievements. They fear what becomes possible when a person finally stops making excuses. When a person finally masters himself. When a person becomes impossible to distract, impossible to discourage, and impossible to control. That person becomes a force, not because he dominates others, but because he governs himself. And self-mastery is the highest form of power. So from this moment forward, stop waiting for motivation. Stop waiting for the perfect opportunity. Stop waiting for permission. The time for waiting is over. Build the habits. Raise the standards. Protect your focus. Master your emotions. Honor your commitments. And day by day, piece by piece, become the person you were meant to be. The path will not be easy. It was never meant to be. But it will be worth it. Now the question is simple. Will you return to comfort? Or will you choose discipline? The choice is yours. The consequences are yours. And so is the future. Most people will choose comfort. Most people will choose excuses. Most people will continue living the same year over and over again, calling it a different life. But you are here for a reason. You didn't watch this video because you wanted entertainment. You watched it because a part of you is tired of being average. A part of you knows you were meant for more. And right now, at this very moment, you have a decision to make. Not tomorrow, not next Monday, not when motivation returns. Now, will you return to the habits that have kept you trapped? Or will today become the day you declare war on your weaker self? Because 1 year from now, you will meet the consequences of the decisions you make tonight. The future version of you is watching. The question is, will he thank you? Or will he regret you? If you are choosing discipline, prove it. Go down to the comments right now and type, "I choose discipline." Not for me, for yourself. Make it a commitment. Make it a declaration. And if you want more lessons on Stoicism, power, self-mastery, and the psychology of greatness, subscribe to the Stoic path and turn on notifications. Because while the world grows weaker, louder, and more distracted, we will continue building strength. One decision, one habit, one victory at a time. Now close this video, put down the phone, and get back to the work your future depends on.